Do you know this situation? You're sitting there, you're trying to create something, whatever it is, and you just can't think of anything.
I got nothing. I'm blank.
And it's like, whatever you think of, it just ain't any good.
It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times. You stupid monkey.
Hey, welcome to Crafty Music Tips. My name's Crafty, and in this video, we're going to talk about how you can stop writer's block. Now, just a quick disclaimer, I'm not actually sure if John Lennon, the great man himself, actually had any severe writer's block, but there's a couple of things he said in interviews regarding the song Nowhere Man that I thought were very interesting on this subject, so let's check it out. Wait a minute, you don't know the song Nowhere Man? If you don't, that's cool. It's a great, awesome song that you should listen to. I'll leave a link below. So in one interview, he said, I was just sitting trying to think, then I'd actually stopped trying to think of something. Nothing would come. I was cheesed off and I went for a lie down, having given up. Then I thought of myself as Nowhere Man, sitting in this nowhere land. And in another interview, he says, I'd spent 5 hours that morning trying to write a song that was meaningful and good, and I finally gave up and lay down. Then Nowhere Man came, words and music, the whole damn thing, as I lay down. So letting it go is what the whole game is. You put your finger on it, it slips away, right? You know, you turn the lights on and the cockroaches run away. You can never grasp them. So I, for one, as a songwriter, found that very interesting, that someone who wrote so many hit songs was a human being and he wasn't getting what he wanted out. He struggles like what we all do. And so his method was finding the zone, the inspiration, getting into that zone where you just, all of a sudden you have a bunch of ideas and the juices start flowing.
With meditation, there's no limit to what we can imagine.
And in addition to this inspiration zone, what John Lennon also realized is that if you just embrace the situation, which may not be going to plan, and use it to your advantage, well, then you get something out of it that you wouldn't have had if, you know, for instance, if he was writing a song earlier and it just worked, then he wouldn't have felt, well, here's a real nowhere man. So he got an extra bonus song out of the situation. Now, that doesn't always work, but try it out in your situation. Now, I remember Michael Jackson saying in an interview once that he says that it's a blessing and a curse, you know, when you get an inspiration, a blessing when you get it, but the curse is usually that it doesn't happen at a very opportune time. There's an interview where he said he was doing a stadium show in the 80s, and, you know, this is way before phones, and he used to carry a little mini cassette dictaphone around with him, and he was just about to board a helicopter to take him to this big stadium gig, and he got this great idea, and of course he's there with the helicopter noise in the background and he's like singing into his little dictaphone. Now, this is easier said than done, of course, but the moral of the story is if you have that inspiration wave, no matter what the situation is, just do your absolute very best in order to be able to just go with that inspiration and see where it takes you. I know myself, I've written some of my best songs when I should be sleeping. Now, so harnessing these zones that I'm talking about is easier said than done. I remember when I was telling an old lecturer of mine that I was having trouble sleeping, and he just said to me, it just comes in waves. Waves? Yeah, waves, you know, like the ocean. As soon as one goes and it's not there, there will be another one coming pretty soon. You just got to wait it out. So if you wait it out, your creative zone will present itself to you. But if you can't wait, or you've just tried and nothing's working, I've got another tip for you that was given to me years ago. I'll tell you the story. So I was a young lad, I was studying music at the time, and the songwriting lecturer was the person that I wanted to ask, how do I fix writer's block? And when I asked him, I said, look, can I ask you a question? And he said, look, I'm in a rush. Can you make it really quick? I've got 1 minute. And I said, okay, writer's block, how do you fix it?
Fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix fix it!
So as fast as he could, I'll try and recreate it as best as I can. He told me this. Okay, so your brain is split into two sides. You've got your creative side and your analytical side. What's happening with you is that your analytical side is overpowering the creative side. Every time you write something, you think that it's bad because you're analyzing it, and your creative side is just going, well, that's it. I'm not going to bother in putting in any effort because the analytical side just keeps winning. So now what you need to do is just write down anything. Get a blank piece of paper and just write down anything. Stuff, whatever it is. My dog took a poo today. I don't care. Just write down something, because then you're letting your creative side have a voice, and then what your analytical side can do is try and fix the dodgy stuff at a later date. Whew. All right. That was hard talking that fast. Here's a few quotes that I really feel help add to this. You can always edit a bad page, but you can never edit a blank page. It's better to be looking at it than looking for it. And this one my dad always says, if you don't have it, you can't use it. So if you've got writer's block, just write down something. Doesn't matter what it is. It can be so lame, but it doesn't matter, because what's lamer is just going, I got nothing.
Prepare to be written! I'm doing it!
Now, if you're watching this thinking that I'm telling you to just be happy with writing inferior levels of stuff. Oh, hell no! Now, the analytical side has our best intentions at heart. It wants us to put out good material. It doesn't want us to put out stuff that's bad.
Who's bad?
But when you're trying to create something, and when the analytical side keeps on overpowering the creative side, well, then nothing's ever going to get out. Nothing's ever going to be good enough. So what you have to do is you have to make a deal with the analytical side. You have to tell it, look, give yourself a break, have a day off, and then once I've written all of this stuff, then you get to work. Then you get a chance to make it so that when I'm revealing stuff to others, that it's actually going to be good. It's kind of like you're writing a first draft and you're just relaxing with it, and nobody really ever has to see your first draft. You don't have to let them see anything up to, say, the fifth draft when the analytical side has gone in and had extra revisions fixing it. Now, another tip, can you imagine if John Lennon only wrote his first section to A Day in the Life and then never had a chance to have a collaborator in Paul McCartney bring his other section that woke up, fell out of bed? That was Paul McCartney's section, if you didn't realize. And so that was the two of them only having little snippets. They had a bit of a writer's block, or they didn't have a chance to develop those ideas any further. And those two separate ideas were able to commingle as one amazing idea.
Day in the Life was very much a collaboration, because when John first played it to me, as he did Strawberry Fields, just strumming away, it didn't have a middle, and it was a very short song. And he said to Paul, have you got anything we can put in here? Paul said, not really. He said, I've got this song which I've been trying to get something out of. It doesn't go very far. And again, it had nothing to do with John's song. Woke up, got out of bed, completely different tempo, a little jazzy little tune. And John said, that'll do. We'll put it in there.
So with that in mind, here's a tip for you. Find a collaborator. Having a collaborator, even in the early stages before you get a draft, can help you feed off of someone. And think of it like this. It's better playing a game of tennis with somebody on the other side of the court. So find somebody to feed off of.
Every time we say goodbye, I die a little.
So there you have it. There were a best bunch of tips on combating writer's block. Was that helpful? Let me know in the comments below what was the most helpful for you. Also, what would be something else that I could give you a hand with in another upcoming YouTube video. Now, if you found this video helpful, I've got a bunch of other videos on this channel that you can check out. And also, just before I go, I've got a free gift to offer you. It's called 5 Steps to Fast Improvement. I don't know about you, but I've definitely had many times in my life where I'm just like, I just really can't get the inroads to the improvement that I want, whether it's an instrument or with songwriting or with getting gigs. anything, whatever it is, whatever the skill is that you're trying to develop, and if you're not getting where you want to get at the rate that you want to get, well, what I've done in this ebook, it's a free ebook download. I just go through the 5 steps that you can take in order to make it a really clear step-by-step process. So if that sounds like something that could help you, then click the link below. My name is Crafty. I'll see you in another music tips video really soon, wherever you are. I hope it's rocking.